Hi guys, welcome to another week. Today is Sunday. It's a bit of a dreary Sunday, so I'm just sitting at my desk and working on some fun little projects. I have been listening to you guys, and a lot of you were saying that you were having a hard time tying on the bracelets you were buying. So from now on, if you order one of my bracelets, instead of just having ties at the end, it'll have one of these little like sliding knot closures. I don't know if you can see that. This way it doesn't fall off as easily. I'm really sorry if you guys bought one and had it fall off. Sometimes the cord can be a little bit stiff when you first get it. Oh, and look, we started putting together the desk. So this is what we have so far. There are a few pieces we need to pick up tomorrow, so there's a few more drawers. And I think there's like one more little rack thing. That black thing is going to go away, and there's going to just be a white countertop all the way across here. And I'm so excited about it. I can't wait to have that much space to spread out. And I also have a ton of medical stuff that I need drawers for, and I just don't have the space right now. So that is gonna be really cool. Hi guys, it is Monday. Mondays are the days that I usually have my port access. When she came to access my port, she got the needle in and it would flush so we could push things into it. But when she pulled back, you're supposed to be able to get blood return. You're supposed to be able to pull back some blood, and we couldn't do that. And so she ended up having to take the needle in and out like 5 or 6 times. We tried a bunch of different positions. Nothing really helped. So we had to pull the needle out, and I was not able to have my port access today. I'm not quite sure why it was able to flush but not give us blood return. We are hoping it's just because I'm pretty darn dehydrated and really need a fluid. So after trying 5 or 6 times with the port needle, I finally gave in and we had to do a peripheral IV. I'm really cranky about it. And so I basically can't use this hand at all. And I had so many projects that I was gonna get done today, and now I can't do any of that. Hopefully we can get the port figured out. They said I could keep this in for up to 3 days, but I really don't want to. I really kind of want to pull it out as soon as I finish today, but I don't want to have another IV placed tomorrow, so I don't know, I guess we'll play it by ear. Tomorrow they're going to send someone to try again, and if that doesn't work, then we'll probably have to go to the hospital, which I really don't want to have to do because I do have physical therapy tomorrow, and I really don't want to miss out on that. And I'm a little bit worried about my port.
All across America. But no matter where we go, we always bring home this same.
I finally finished my infusion. Now I am just blocking it out with some heparin. They want me to keep the IV line in for tomorrow at least. Not super thrilled about it. I just felt really unproductive today. But anyway, I'm super excited because I just bought tickets to go see Phantom of the Opera when it comes to Boston next week. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've seen it in New York once before, but I'm taking one of my best friends with me this time, and she hasn't seen it yet, and I got her totally addicted to it. So it's gonna be really special seeing it with her. Oh, I'm so excited, I can't wait. Okay guys, so it's like the middle of the night, so I'm off to bed now, but it occurred to me that Sleeping Christina is probably not going to be a very big fan of my little IV here. So I have a feeling that if I go to sleep, I'm probably gonna pull it out. And knowing Sleeping Christina, I'll probably wake up with it all sterilized with gauze and a bandage. But I'm trying to keep this IV. I think I'm just gonna give my hand and wrist a nice little mummy wrap for the night so that I don't try to pull this out, because that would probably be like an actual bloodbath. And I don't feel like dealing with that tomorrow morning. I really, really don't. Cute. Okay, good night. Okay guys, believe it or not, the claw survived the night. I did not pull out my IV. I talked to my nursing company this morning, and they are going to be sending someone out to try to re-access me tonight. It has been very interesting trying to get ready like this. I don't know, I just can't move my fingers without a ton of pain. And my nurse was like, oh yeah, don't worry about it, just pull it out and we can put another one in. And I was like, girl, you may be new around here, but I have one vein. just one. And if something happens to this vein, we are not going to get an IV in. So I'm going to be very, very careful today in physical therapy. This is like the coolest thing ever. One of my friends made this pillow that like straps on to your seatbelt. And so not only is it like cushioning for your port or your feeding tube or whatever you got going on, but it's just like really comfortable. I'm not sure if she's actually selling these on her Etsy yet. I know that she will be. I think I'm kind of beta testing this product for her, but this could not have come on a better day because my port is just really sore from getting stabbed yesterday. I'm really happy with this. Thank you so much, Becca. That was so sweet. All right, we are leaving a good PT session, and I thought I might show you guys how I get comfortable for the car rides. My hair clip, put my hair up so that I can get the neck brace on without getting my hair caught in the Velcro. All right, next comes putting my SI belt back on. But first we gotta take off this bag, unclip the tubing, take the SI belt. Okay, next comes the neck brace. I have finally been promoted to wearing just regular neck brace instead of the full cervical and thoracic collar. Now I have to get my pillow set up. Put this bag over there. This big pregnancy pillow, they call it. And then we have the trusty cervical pillow. And this pillow, which goes on my lap to lean into. Adjust the seat, make sure that it is at the right angle. Then when I buckle, just have to make sure to put the buckle around that part of the pillow, underneath the feeding tube, underneath this side of the pillow. All right, now we're good to go. My team called me and said unfortunately they're actually not sending anybody out to try to access my port tonight. They are going to come tomorrow instead with cath flow, which is like a strong blood thinner that they use to break up any clots inside of the port if that's what they need. They don't want to make a trip out here without it, and I guess they need a doctor to order it and all this stuff. So they won't be coming tonight, they'll be coming tomorrow. And I am so desperately trying to be productive and work on some jewelry orders, but like my hand is so useless. Like it's just like a claw. There are beads everywhere. I can't stop dropping everything. It took me an hour to thread this needle, and then I've dropped this like 7 times and had to start over, and it just is killing me. It's like they put the IV like right in between the joints, and so anytime I move it really hurts, and I'm so afraid to blow this vein because if I blow this vein I'm in so much trouble because we're not getting a new one. So I think I might have to call it a day on the jewelry and just take another rest day, which really stinks, but resting is important too, and at this point I don't really think I have any other options. Okay, yeah, it's bleeding. I guess I better stop for the day. Oh shoot. I'm being a good little patient. Got my IV running. Anytime I move my hand, it stops running. This is gonna be a long night. It's not even halfway gone. Okay, I fell asleep. It's like 3 a.m. now. But the good news is my infusion is finally finished. Yay! I think it took around 8 hours this time just because the IV is so positional. It's usually only supposed to take 4. But like I said, every time I moved, it like stopped, and hopefully we can get the port all figured out tomorrow. If there's a clot in there, we can bust that clot up so that I can keep my plans tomorrow and get this thing out of my hand. That would be really nice. I'm gonna go back to sleep. Good night. Hi guys, it is Wednesday and I am just waiting around for the nurse to come. It's like the third day in a row that they've said, oh, we're gonna send someone and they're gonna come try, and then I don't know if they're even going to come at this point, but I'm getting really frustrated. I just can't function and this IV is filling up with blood. I know I can only have it for one more night because they only last for 3 days. I personally just want them to come and try one more time to get a blood return without using any kind of medication. Oh, I guess the nurse just arrived. This should be interesting. Okay, frustrated update. The nurse just left and he tried again to access it. We tried twice, we tried 2 different needles. It flushes great and then we can't get any blood return at all. So I'm still de-accessed and I still have my IV. He is recommending that we contact interventional radiology, the people who placed my port, and try to get in to see them in the hospital tomorrow. They can take an x-ray. He thinks that maybe the catheter, the little tubing, has moved out of place and is no longer where it needs to be, which would not be good news. That would mean probably surgery again. There is still the possibility that it is just partially clotted off. In that case, we would just have to put in cath flow. I guess that would be best case scenario at this point. They were supposed to send it to the house today so that the nurse could try it here, but that didn't happen. And like, I don't have time for this. I have 2 appointments tomorrow morning already, which I can't really reschedule. I've been waiting for them for quite a while and this is something that's important. Tomorrow is going to be a really difficult day. Yeah, so that's where we are right now. Kind of stinks, but that's life. I think my friend is gonna come over and we're just gonna chill and hang out and watch movies for the rest of the day. So that should actually be kind of nice. Whoop, sounds like she's here. Okay guys, I'm being good. I'm running my fluids. Luckily my friend came over and is keeping me company. Want to say hi really quick before the battery dies?
Sure. Sammy's crazy. That's all I need to say.
Sammy is in fact crazy. My friend just left. It was really nice having her over. I didn't see her like all summer, so it was really great to catch up with her. And she kept me company while I finished my infusion for the night. I'm gonna have to take this IV out because IVs, you can only keep them in for 3 days, and I've had this in for 3 days, so even though I'm used to doing 4 days of therapy, I'm gonna have to take this out. This should be interesting because I've never actually taken an IV out before, so wish me luck. If this kind of thing makes you squeamish, maybe skip over the next clip or close your eyes. I will tell you when it's over. Yay, I guess I'm just gonna do this on the floor. So I think you just pull it out and add pressure, right? Take off the dressing. So here goes nothing. Ouch, hopefully this dressing doesn't like pull off all of my skin. It is so hard to get the dressing detached from my skin without pulling the IV out itself, but I think I got it. I really wish this was on my non-dominant hand. Maybe I can just pull it out with my teeth. Well, that worked. If you're currently studying to be a nurse, I don't necessarily recommend this method. Your patients might not like that. Alright, it is out. I am free. I didn't really think about how I was going to tape this. I am just so darn happy to have my hand back, at least for today. I just threaded all the needles. I'm not sure if they're going to have to put in another IV tomorrow or what's going to happen. So I'm just enjoying my free hand time. But I have a huge day tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna stink, so I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll talk to you guys in the morning when I'm super cranky. Hi guys, it is Thursday morning, and as promised, I am really cranky that I am up this early. It's like 8 a.m. or something like that. This appointment today is kind of something that I've been putting off for years. When you talk about something, it makes it real. And I wasn't really ready to admit that this was a symptom that I was still having. But I have significant problems with my hearing. And it's not really that I can't hear, like things are too quiet. It's just that I can't understand what people are saying, or when I watch TV, I pretty much watch it on mute with subtitles. I just can't process sound, especially if it's in a busy area and someone's trying to talk to me. I really can't understand them. So I do a lot of smiling and nodding. I guess I can't nod anymore, but a lot of smiling. And this is something that I've had for a really long time, and a symptom that I always hoped would go away after surgery, and it just kind of never did. Now that my spine is fully stabilized, it's still there, and so now it's something that I have to face and figure that part of the puzzle out. It's really affecting me, I think, especially with my social life. It's a very claustrophobic feeling, especially since my vision has not been the best, and then to have my hearing not be that great, and then not being able to turn. If I'm talking to someone and someone interjects, I have to turn my entire body in their direction to figure out what they're saying. But then this person's talking again, so I gotta turn to them. And it's just exhausting, and we have to figure out what's going on. And then of course we have to go into Boston and go to the hospital and find out what the heck is wrong with my port. So, what a day it's going to be. We just went to the hearing appointment. I had my hearing checked, and then I saw my ear, nose, and throat doctor to talk about the results. So, it pretty much went exactly how I expected it to go. My ears are totally fine. It is just my brain that is having a hard time processing, just like my problem with my vision. So he's going to be referring me to be tested for a central auditory processing disorder, which pretty much sounds like it fits my symptoms. I can definitely hear, it's just that I'm having a hard time comprehending, understanding, differentiating sounds. It's nice to know that there's nothing wrong with my ears, but you know, as always, there's no quick fix. It's something that I'm going to probably have to work on and do therapy for, just like my eyes and just like the rest of my body. And now we are off to the hospital. And we're just stopping at home to grab some of the dressings that we have that the hospital doesn't usually carry. I'm in the hospital. I'm in the pre-procedure area, and they are now saying that they can't do the procedure today because I'm allergic to contrast, and they need me to pre-medicate for at least a day before having the procedure. They didn't tell us last night when we talked to them. They said that everything would be okay and that I wouldn't need contrast dye. And that means that we'll have to come back another day, probably tomorrow, so I'd have to cancel my physical therapy for tomorrow. We could also try a few other tests. So he's gonna go talk to some of his colleagues and see if it's worth just even running these other tests and trying these other things. It looks like maybe part of the port has like, not really clotted off, but kind of like formed like some kind of barrier and needs to be replaced. Okay, so the plan is now they are transferring me down to the emergency department. They are probably going to send a team down to do the cath flow to see if we can get a blood return, and if not, I'll have to take some pre-medication tonight and come back tomorrow to do the x-rays. I wanted to update you guys on what happened today. I think that maybe the last time you saw me, I was in interventional radiology, and they had decided to send me down to the emergency room. After that, I actually kept filming. I filmed the whole rest of the day in the emergency room, but it turns out it is illegal to film in the emergency room or something like that. So 2 very big security guys came and deleted all of my footage. So that happened. It was one of those days when things just went from like bad to worse, and then you think like, okay, something has to go right, and then it doesn't. So we went down to the ER. The hospital was in a state of emergency because it was so full. There were patients like camped out in the ER. There were patients who were admitted to the hospital, but they were still in stretchers in the ER. So it was a really bad day to be in the hospital. They didn't feel comfortable sending me home to have the cathode, the TPA, because of my history of allergic reactions, which was a very good idea on their side. I had an x-ray first to make sure that the port was still in the right place, that I hadn't dislodged it. It was in the right place, so they decided to access it. They accessed it for like the 7th time this week, and it flushed great for like the 7th time this week. Couldn't get any blood. So they decided to put in the cath flow, which is TPA. It's supposed to bust any clots that are in there if it's clotted over. They put it in. I had a bit of an allergic reaction. I started to feel pretty hot and flushed. But they did it in a way so that they were trying not to get it into my system, just into the port itself, not in my bloodstream. And then they were gonna just pull it out and it would never really be in my system. So after like 30 minutes to an hour, I think it was more like an hour, they came back to try to pull it out and to try to pull some blood out. And they couldn't even get the TPA back out. So we just made plans for me to come back tomorrow for the other imaging study. I would take all my pre-meds tonight, and that was the plan. I signed the discharge paperwork, and they flushed the TPA through because it's flushing this way. They couldn't pull it out, but they could just flush it through. And then I felt a full-fledged allergic reaction coming on. I was like, shoot, Mom, something is wrong. I just felt really nauseous. I got really hot and flushed. I just knew that I was gonna go into a dystonia, those kind of seizures that I have. I just like completely was like shaking and having full body convulsions. So obviously they didn't want me to leave then. They gave me Benadryl and some Valium. I was just like in so much pain from all of this seizing, and I was pulling like joints out of place, and it was just miserable. Eventually, after like an hour or so, the Benadryl kicked in and I stopped shaking quite as much, and we saw our opportunity and busted the heck out. Oh, and after all of this, I was supposed to get IV fluids when I was in the ER. That was like one of the main reasons they sent me to the ER, because I kept like fainting in their waiting room, and I was due for IV fluids today. But obviously I couldn't do it because I didn't have the port and I didn't have the IV line anymore. But at that point I was like, I was so done, and I was not going to let them try to poke around in my veins while I was like shaking. I was just done. So we left, but we still had to find a place to pick up the medications that I had to take so that I can have my x-ray test tomorrow with the contrast. I'm gonna have to take a dose of steroids tonight, one in the morning, and then one right before I have the test done. We were just driving around all these different CVS's. We had to try to find a 24-hour one. I tried like 3 different CVS's that were 24-hour CVS's, but their pharmacies closed. We finally found one locally, and I don't really remember a whole lot after this because the Benadryl kicked in hard, and then I woke up about a half hour ago. I was really sick to my stomach. Feeling a little bit better now. I think my body is just trying to get rid of everything. I don't blame it. It has had a really long day. Good morning, you guys. It is Friday morning. Today is going to be the day that I am going to have the dye study with contrast. I've taken 2 out of 3 doses of the prednisone already. I take the final dose like an hour before the procedure. And then I also have to take Benadryl. I don't like prednisone. It makes me feel like I'm like vibrating from the inside. That's why I'm just sitting outside and breathing the fresh air. And I'm gonna cheer myself up by opening up. I got a package in the mail, and I got a letter from one of you guys, and you asked me to open it on camera, so I'm going to do that right now. Oh, also, if you see these like weird funny lines, like when the sun hits the camera, let's see if I can get it to go away. Yeah, that's because I cracked the lens in the camera a few months ago. It got dropped. I drop a lot of things, but this time it wasn't actually me who dropped the camera. I don't have the money to fix it, so we're just avoiding lighting for now. So this letter is from Mackenzie. It's really cute how she decorated it, but I don't want to show you my address to hers. It's a little thank you note. I just recently sent her a postcard. Ooh. Oh, so sweet. She sent me this little global jeans awareness ribbon. Where should I put this? I'm gonna put this like on my feeding pump bag when I get back inside. Oh cool, so she also sent me this little business card for the US Pain Foundation. And she thought some of you guys might be interested. Don't know if it's focusing, but it looks like they're doing a project called the Invisible Project, and they have a website for that. So I'm definitely gonna look into what this is, and maybe you guys should too, because that sounds pretty cool. Mackenzie, you are so welcome. Thank you so much for sending me this card and this little ribbon. That was really sweet of you. Now this other package is something that I'm pretty excited about as well. This package is from the brand called Theramu. I mentioned them before, I believe, definitely in my vlogs after my TMJ appointments, but I might have talked about it as well when I was talking about CBD oil. So I guess the company heard that I had tried it and liked it at my dentist's office, but then in the long run, I didn't end up purchasing any products. So they were nice enough to send me some of their products, and I'm so excited. These products do have CBD oil in them as well as emu oil, which I didn't know was an oil, and apparently it's a really good carrier oil. It's very unusual for you to find pure CBD oil. It's usually mixed with something called a carrier oil. So the CBD oil that I'm using right now is called Charlotte's Web, and the one I have uses coconut oil as the carrier oil. But this company claims that emu oil is the best when it comes to CBD. So let's see what's in here. Ooh, all right. So this is called Calm, which sounds nice. I could use that right about now, but I don't want to try anything new if I'm already worried about reactions. It says mango medicated sublingual elixir. Interesting, so this is mango flavored and it goes under your tongue. You know who's gonna love this? My sister is going to absolutely love this. She loves mango. Maybe she'll steal that one from me. Oh, awesome. Okay, these are this is a CBD-based topical that helps soothe pain and inflammation, reduces the size of scarring and wounds, and strengthening the skin. Definitely need this. It's called their Relieve. I'll put all the info for them in the description. I definitely want to put this to the test against the Charlotte's Web and see which one helps more and which one's kind of more cost effective, but this is exciting. The ingredients in here say emu oil, beeswax, and essential oils. And then it says CBD is 0.85%. Anyway, I've procrastinated enough and I have to go get x-rayed and contrasted. Here goes nothing. Hey guys, we are just arriving at the hospital. Just took my final steroid, the prednisone, and 2 Benadryl pills. Now I have to try to make it to the waiting room before I totally crash. Okay guys, we are out. I have escaped the hospital. The testing went pretty well actually. They were able to see that yes, the port is flushing fine, everything's going to the right places. They could also see that apparently your body can form something that they call a fibrin sheath on the inside of the port. He explained it kind of like scar tissue. It's allowing things to go in perfectly fine. It's just not allowing anything to come out. The really great news is that they said that they're perfectly comfortable with me using the port the way it is. I don't actually really have to worry about that fibrin sheath, except for the fact that I won't be able to have my monthly blood draws through there, which I'm okay with. I just am so excited right now that I don't need surgery right away. They said that they could do surgery, and if it gets worse, that's something that we will have to talk about again, but right now I can just go back to the way things were. Now you guys know that I was really nervous about having a reaction, and they were really sweet about it. Unfortunately, we did have to wait in the waiting room for a couple hours, so they had to give me more Benadryl through an IV, which, let me tell you, was not easy to place. Many people tried, many people failed. I told you I have one good vein, and we used it earlier this week, but I did get it. I got some Benadryl, and I finally got some fluids. Then throughout the test, as I started to react to the contrast, they continued to give me more and more Benadryl until I was feeling comfortable again. They just kept me for observation for like an hour or so. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm in for one of my kind of rebound reactions later on tonight. But we were all comfortable with me going home because my airways were totally fine and because I have so much experience with this kind of reaction. So I'm going home and I have a working port. This is way better than I expected. Okay, the combination of being on a whole bunch of steroids and a whole bunch of Benadryl is the weirdest feeling ever. I have never felt so energized and so exhausted in my whole life before, and I cannot sleep. I wonder if this is what drinking coffee feels like. What the heck do I do? Send help. I just want to go to sleep.